Fed up on fed up. Fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up on fed up. Fed up, fed up, fed up on fed up. Fed up on fed up with the drugs. Fed up with the fake love, with the gun in my brain gon' bang on. Fed up with the
Sheriff's Office now investigating the death of 55-year-old James Warner. We're told he was found by U.S. Marshals Friday morning seated by a car and a canister of compressed nitrogen in his garage. Suicide is suspected. Warner evaded jail time for more than 2 years while he appealed a conviction on federal charges against him for receiving more than $6 million in bribes during his time as an airport manager at Detroit Metro Airport. It's the third largest amount for public corruption in U.S. history. Warner was supposed to turn himself into federal prison in Milan, Michigan Thursday to start a 10-year sentence. And when he didn't, marshals came looking at his Commerce Township home. Warner's scheme started in 2010. He'd end up steering more than $43 million worth of airport contracts to 3 co-conspirators. In return, he got that $6 million kickback. Court documents from 2020 show he has a history of mental illness and a suicide attempt by carbon monoxide poisoning. But according to the judge who sentenced him, Judge Victoria Roberts, he was later cleared by a doctor not to be a danger to himself. Warner's body is with the Oakland County medical examiner who will do an autopsy in the coming days. But for now, all signs point to suicide. Reporting in Commerce Township, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Welcome back to another read. Today's read is going to be done on a dude I just saw a news article on. His name is James Warner, and he used to work for the Detroit airport. And the news article just kind of hit me sideways. It said that he committed suicide, and what apparently has happened is he was convicted in 2019 for a 10-year sentence for receiving $6 million in bribes or kickbacks. This is a record-setting corruption. It's the third in the United States history highest amount of money embezzled. I guess it would be embezzled. He offset $43 million in contracts by undercutting and farming it out to contractors, which they would split the kickbacks. Now, he was supposed to have turned himself in because while convicted in 2019, he was allowed to remain free while he was pursuing appeals. And when the United States Supreme Court refused to hear his appeal, he was to turn himself in to begin his sentence. Now, he didn't show up to turn himself in, so the U.S. Marshals stormed his house, got an arrest warrant, stormed his house, and found him deceased in his garage by way of compressed nitrous. So, here's what's odd to me. Number one, the feds found him. I mean, he didn't know they was coming that day. He was already 3 days past his turn-in date. Number two, he was convicted in 2019, okay? He had 2 years to commit suicide if that's what was going to happen. If that was the end game. Not only that, you're talking about a 10-year sentence in a federal prison, which he would be out in about 7 years. That's no time at all. Not for $6 million. I mean, I just don't see this being no suicide. What I feel like, you're talking about $43 million that he offset to other companies. He's cost somebody some major money. And I don't really know of anyone of that caliber, that amount of money. So you're talking about $43 million plus $6 million. You're talking about close to $50 million that's been fraudulently farmed out, I guess, be the best way to put it. Ain't no judge in the land that's going to let you remain free on that kind of money. So I feel like he's cost these people some money. they've allowed him free so they could try to recover what funds they could. And when they got what they could and the turnip drew up, then bye-bye, Mr. Warner. I do not believe he committed suicide. I believe it was assisted. So that's what I would like to do the read on. I would like to find out if this is conspiracy per se on my behalf or if this is a true suicide. So that's what we're going to be looking at. James Warner, Detroit Airport. I mean, don't that sound suspicious? Think about it. If just logically thinking, 6.5 to 7 years at the most. I mean, in a federal pen too, that's a cush. I have a hard time believing this man's killed himself over that small peon amount of time. Because you know he's got stashed some money away or invested it or stocked it or put it offshore accounts. He's going to have some money to live on. And the feds being the one to find him. Lordy. That's your great government. Here we go. James Warner. What happened? Did you commit suicide? Show us what happened. I mean, you know, you won't be taking that kind of money. You know you're going to get caught eventually. I don't care who you are. Ain't nobody that slick, so. I just don't see this being no suicide. Okay, let's start with the first card, and that is going to be the Two of Cups reversed. That's showing someone who's feeling neglected in their relationship. Exhausted due to others' demands. It reveals insecurity and doubt. I'm thinking that the relationship in question here is the work relationship, the ones that he was having with these contractors and these ones that he was doing these side deals with, that the kickback deals with. He's especially exhausted due to others' demands and reveals insecurity and doubt. Like I said, I think he knew, I said, you're not going to know you're going to get caught doing this. I think he started to get real leery of it. However, when it comes to this next card, it pretty much puts that into perspective because it's a devil card, and that's saying it's enslaved, or he is enslaved to an idea or something that's demanding too much. It's something that started off pleasurably, but has reversed. Now it's leaving you to see the situation for what it really is. It's feeling controlled, and this is also a card of greed, temptation, and materialism. I think this says a lot about. It started out okay, 1 or 2 times, getting a little kickback on that. But feeling controlled and then seeing a situation for what it really is, he knew he was going to get in trouble and get caught. But at this point, there was too many players in the game. They weren't going to let him quit because everybody was getting a kickback from this. Your contractors, all the way down to your employees. So, greed, temptation, materialism. I don't think it was so much more on his behalf. I think it started out. Of course, it had to start out from him, but I think he wanted to stop that. Because now you look at your next card, the King of Wands reversed. That's restriction, not being able to get others to see your point of view. Yeah, he wanted to quit. He didn't want to take no more money. But like I said, at this point, there's too many players involved, and they're not going to let him quit because everybody's making. He was pretty much the middleman, the ATM. Next card is going to be Justice. Now that's coming to a decision about the past. It's also showing someone in the public eye, a type of fame. He was definitely all over the news. His trial and stuff was all over the news. And this next one is the Five of Cups. That's a card of upset and loss. It's feeling a sadness. Sadness kind of due to leaving a job before you're ready to. It's a loss of status and money. But then on the positive side, it shows support from friends and family. And it also indicates revisiting the past and doing this in order to facilitate or make a fresh start. So now that wouldn't be someone that would be planning on committing suicide. You would be looking to make a fresh start. You would be thinking back into your past and getting all your gut together to make a fresh start. Not especially somebody that's got the support of family and friends. And our last card is Ace of Swords, and it shows new beginnings. See, new beginnings. Decisions. Clear thinking that's related to work. See, this man didn't kill himself. And it's also a card of action, drama, and confrontation. Action, drama, and confrontation. Drama and action, confrontation from either... I kind of wonder too. I know I originally said that, it's just too much money for someone to just recoup, from a loss. But, at the end of that article that I read, it said that the contractors and the ones involved in the scheme also they didn't get the jail time that he got, but they were ordered to pay this money back. So, I mean, that could be misconstrued as a snitch. They could be looking at him as a snitch. So, this man was taken out. I ain't doubt in my mind. Like I said, you ain't going to be making new beginnings and looking for a fresh start if you're ready to skippity-doo all out. So, this is just how I read it, how it looks like to me. This is truly how I feel as well. Well, thank you for joining me for another reading. I'll see you next time.